Hello and welcome to highlights of the 2016 CRC World Championship. Round 3 of the championship saw the teams head to the Shanghai International Circuit. With a length of 5.4 kilometers, this circuit features a rather interesting and unique combination of corners, including a tightening turn 1 and a long snail corner at turn 13, which is likely to put lots of stress on the tyres, with the obvious overtaking opportunities being the hairpin at turn 14 at the end of the kilometre-long straight. Qualifying saw championship leader Will Estley take his second pole position of the season, edging out his teammate Alex Morse by 3.5 hundredths of a second. Toby Jones qualified in third, a tenth ahead of Hannah Duran in fourth. Rosie O'Driscoll once again impressed to qualify in fifth, just ahead of the two Master Force cars of Matt Coombs, announcing his 100th Grand Prix, and Dan Milliner, who demonstrated better pace in qualifying to place themselves 6th and 7th respectively. Lucy Woodward set a good performance to qualify in 8th, whilst the two Quintanas of Jack Baldwin and Kieran Hardy rounded out the top 10. Chantel Hawke had looked quick over the course of the weekend, however she was disappointed to qualify in 6th, and to add insult to injury, a 5-place grid penalty from the previous event dropped to 11th. Will Buchan was slightly disappointed with 12th, just ahead of the upgraded CGP racing car of Max von Dragala, who was pleased to qualify in 13th. Lucas Quintanilla qualified in 14th, just ahead of the two Team Mossert by MAT cars of Matthew Hewson and Abby Ledger. Toes showed better pace in qualifying, with both cars clearing Q1 for the first time this season. However, it was a miserable session for the RTS camp, as both cars just couldn't find any pace, resulting in them lining up in 22nd and 24th, respectively. To the race start, and both United got an equal getaway, with Estley holding the lead. Going into turn 1, Rosie O'Driscoll tried to hang it round the outside of first Hannah Duran and then Toby Jones, but had to back off. At the front though, Estley mistakenly left the door open for his teammates to take the lead, whilst the entire field made it around the first few corners instant free. Down the back straight, and the soft tyre shod Milliner tried to get a run on O'Driscoll, but the Coombs GP driver cut across and contact was made. At the end of lap 1, the order ran as Moores, Estley, Jones, Duran, O'Driscoll, Milliner, Coombs, Baldwin, Woodward and Hawke. After her grid penalty, Dork had opted to put Chantel Hawke on the hard compound tyre, meaning she'd only have to complete one stop, and despite being on the slower tyre, she would seize her way through the field by passing first Jack Baldwin and then Lucy Woodward. Just ahead, Rosie O'Driscoll was struggling to escape from the two Master Force cars. She would eventually lose out to first Milliner and then Coombs. She eventually dropped into the clutches of Chantel Hawke, who would then make an easy pass stick at turn 14. In the battle for third, Hannah Duran was putting Toby Jones under all sorts of pressure. She would then make a pass stick, however with DRS assistance, Jones would strike back. The pair swapped positions on numerous occasions before Duran eventually emerged in front. On lap 17, Dan Milliner pitted in for his first of 3 stops. However, damage from the incident with O'Driscoll meant he was held in the pits for longer than ideal, putting a huge dent in his race. At the front, and the two United were running in close formation, as Estley was putting his teammate under all sorts of pressure, and on lap 7 he was able to make a pass stick at the hairpin. However, a lap later, Moores would immediately strike back. With DRS being fairly powerful down the back straight, the pair simply could not escape from each other and swapped positions on numerous occasions until lap 21, when Estley decided to bail out and pit for his first of 2 stops. The undercut had worked, as when his teammate Moores pitted a lap later, he now had a 2-second gap. Crucially, the pair rejoined behind the hard tyre shod Chantel Hawke, before they both were able to make the pass stick without a problem. When Toby Jones pitted, he rejoined in 5th, however it didn't take long for the Master Force of Matt Coombs to catch him. Both Coombs GPs were struggling for race pace, and Coombs would eventually pass him as he struggled with back markers. Back at the front, and Estley was still leading, but Moores was gradually starting to reel in his teammate. But as the back markers got involved, a nail-biting moment occurred as the pair threaded their way through. Moores would then eventually pass his teammate. Similar to the first stint, for the next 10 or so laps, the pair swapped positions on numerous occasions. Eventually Estley would lose out and Moores would create a 2-second gap back to his teammate. Lap 34 saw Chantel Hawke pit for a one and only stop. She rejoined in 6th, however when Estley pitted, he rejoined behind the Dork racing driver. The reigning champion had no problem passing her, but her being able to make those crucial overtakes in the early stint meant she was now on course for a podium. As the race went on, the attrition rate was extremely low, as all 30 cars were still running in the closing stages, until Kerry-Ann Peace took too much curb going into the hairpin and hit the wall, forcing her out of the race. Lucas Quintanilla's difficult start to the season would continue when he hit the curb at turn 12 too heavily and rolled, forcing him to leave the race. In the closing stages, it looked like the top 3 had been settled, however going into the hairpin, Will Estley attempted to lap down Phillips, but contact was made, dropping Estley behind Hawke. Many thought it wouldn't take Esty long to make the move. However, despite Esty having a straight line speed advantage, Shunterhawk was doing a fantastic job to defend the position, showing she was in no way, shape or form intimidated by the reigning champion. However, on lap 53, Will Esty put the pressure on the Dork Racing driver and she could do nothing to resist, as Esty was able to take back second place. Meanwhile, Rosie O'Driscoll was having a difficult race due to Coombs GP's poor race pace. Her afternoon would get even more difficult when she collided with backmarker Louis Hyde, dropping her to 9th behind Hardy. Louis Hyde's race was finished when his throttle pedal malfunctioned in his final stop, meaning he was unable to leave his box and had to retire. Due to a botched pit stop, Dan Milner's soft tyre strategy had not worked as intended as he rejoined from his final stop in 9th. However, he was on a charge as he was able to pass first O'Driscoll, then Hardy to take 7th place. Meanwhile, back at the front and taking his first win of the season, Alex Moore pulled off a fantastic drive to prove he still can take the fight to his teammate by winning the Chinese Grand Prix on pure merit. A slightly disappointed Will Esty brought his car home in 2nd, knowing that his record streak of wins was at an end. And rounding out the podium, Shunterhawk pulled off a fantastic drive to make a hard tyre strategy work to take her first podium of the season with a sublime drive to 3rd. Hannah Duran brought her Dork racing car home in 4th, completing a good result for Dork. Matt Coombs enjoyed a good race to finish in 5th, ahead of Toby Jones, who could only manage 6th after struggling for race pace. Dan Milner's late race charge saw him rise to 7th, completing a good race for Masterforce, ahead of Kieran Hardy in 8th. A scrappy race for Rosie O'Driscoll left her down in a disappointing 9th, while Jack Baldwin collected the final point in 10th. Barron and Atta were extremely disappointed to just miss out on points in 11th and top respectively. Matthew Tucson finished in 30th ahead of Max Wondregala, who expected more from CGP's upgrades. Abby Leggett brought her car home in 15th ahead of Dan Phillips in 16th and Phoebe O'Connor, who pulled off a good drive to get up to 17th from a lowly grid position. However, RTS know they need to improve the car to prevent this season from being a failure. In the driver's standings, Will Esty still leads the way, however Alex Moores has reduced the gap to 13 points. The two Coombs GPs of Toby Jones and Rosie O'Driscoll lie just behind in 3rd and 4th, just ahead of the two Dorks of Hannah Duran and Shunterhawk. Dan Milner lies just behind in 7th, just ahead of Matt Coombs, whose 5th place finish has moved him up to 8th, with the two Quintanas of Kieran Hardy and Jack Baldwin rounding out the top 10. In the constructors' standings, there is not much change. Yanataro can now have a considerable lead over Coombs GP in 2nd. Dork's good result from this race has closed the gap to Coombs GP, however there are still many teams yet to get off the mark. The next race will be the Russian Grand Prix, and you can watch that race live as it happens. Just simply head to this YouTube channel on the 24th of April and follow the links to the live broadcast. The times for the race, preceding sessions and support race streams will be confirmed on the CRC site at crcracing1.wix.com/official and the CRC Twitter at twitter.com/crcracing1 on the Wednesday before the race. Also, don't forget you can rate this race and vote for your driver of the day via the link in the description, and you can subscribe to this channel for more CRC streams and highlight videos. As well as this, visit the CRC site and Twitter for news and league information. We hope you enjoyed today's highlights, and we will see you next time for round 4, the 2016 CRC World Championship.